could this replace a 24-70 and a 70-200 lens? I mean, this might be the lens you never take off your camera, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's the Tamron 25-200 f2.8 to f5.6, and I'm gonna be testing it for image quality, versatility, the build I'm gonna go over. There's some features on this that make it so incredibly versatile and usable, and I wanna talk more about those. But first, I wanna thank Squarespace for making this video possible. If you want your own website, store, gallery, you can make it happen with Squarespace for free. Go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. Thanks, Squarespace. My first impression is that for 200 millimeters, this is really small, light, and minimalistic. I mean, it's about less than 6 inches long. It's about a pound. But even though it's light, it doesn't feel cheap or airy, so that's nice. And I think part of the reason it's light is that it's super minimalistic. You can see it has one programmable button here. It just has a lock. It doesn't even have autofocus on or off or any modes or anything, so it's very simple. And it has this USB-C charger, which I'll talk about later. But another thing that made an impression on me is this really deep grip. You could eat chicken wings and still turn this thing just fine. You're not slipping. You could put your hand in Vaseline, you could turn this. You're not gonna have any problems. Let's talk about some basic specs and features of this lens before we get into any of the testing. Now, you know it's 25-200 f2.8 to 5.6. I want to say that it switches out of f2.8 pretty quickly and goes to like f3.5 as soon as you hit maybe 28. Between 25 and 35 millimeters, you're at a f2.8. It's $900 US dollars if you're wondering, and it is a low weight like I was talking about. It's 20 ounces, so a little bit over a pound. Very lightweight, very easy to carry, and it's about 5 inches long. It's very compact for what you're getting. It has 9 aperture blades, so you're going to get some decent bokeh. We'll test that later. And it's got this USB-C charging port. It's not a charging port. It's not for charging your autofocus motor or anything like that. It's for firmware updates. You don't have to do them through the camera. You can just plug in your lens and do any firmware updates when they're available, so that's nice. Another thing is the minimal focusing distance is surprising and excellent in this. It's like 6 inches. So you start from the flange here. So that's right in front of your lens when you're at 25 millimeters. And then once you go out to telephoto, like 200 millimeters, you're gonna go to about 30 inches. So it gets more. But they're calling this a half macro lens because you get like 1 to 2 magnification. I'll get more into the macro stuff later, but this has some cool features and I'm gonna put them in action. Let's talk about image quality. I'm able to get test shots from every range, macro to telephoto, and what I'm finding in my test charts is that this is a sharp lens. It's sharp all across focal lengths from 25 to 200. You do get some fall off in sharpness towards the edges of the frame, but it still looks really good and usable. Now, I kind of did something extreme. I compared it to the Sony 70-200, which is like a $3,000 lens. So of course it's different, it's in a different market. And the 70-200 was sharper, the Sony, but this still held its own and looked really sharp. When I tested it for chromatic aberration and shot the sun through some trees looking for any color or fringing, it looked really clean, which surprised me. I didn't think that the image quality would be that good. I took the classic starburst shot to see how those 9 aperture blades looked, and I got a really nice starburst when I closed down the aperture. So all in all, I think that the image quality is really impressive on this lens for $900. I'm happy with it. I have these beautiful flowers and bees here, so let's talk about macro. You can use this as a half macro lens, they call it. That's because true macro has 1-to-1 magnification, but this is 1-to-1.9, so almost 1-to-2. Half macro, but you still get these really close-up shots. And the minimal focusing distance at 25 millimeters is 6 inches from the camera body, not from the end of the lens. So you are this close when you're focusing. Oh, there's actually a bee there. I have a cooperative model. Wish my hair would cooperate. Okay, this is moving all around because it's windy, but I took some other macro shots at home with this fly that had been harassing me all night. It's on my bananas. I got some pictures, and I even put a 16mm extension tube on to get true macro. I was having a hard time actually getting things in focus at 25 millimeters, so I zoomed to like 35 or 50 millimeters, and then you're not getting the true one-to-one magnification, but you're still getting really close. Look at these shots, and it's sharp too. Now, you might not want to take bug pictures, but a practical application for this is you're in a beautiful town like this, Mystic, Connecticut. You're getting pictures, portraits of your family, you're zooming in and getting detail shots, and then you go to lunch and you want a picture of your lunch, and you'll be able to get a close-up shot of your burger or whatever that is. So really practical that you can focus closely and still get beautiful shots. Regardless of the lens you're using, if you're taking beautiful photos, you want to share them with people and not just chronologically on social media. You want the ability to organize them and categorize them. So if you have clients or people coming to look at your work, they're seeing the work you want them to see first, and that's important. If you get your own Squarespace website like I have and like Frank has, then you can put your photos in a way where you're going to bring people more into your work and engage more. You can set up a gallery so that they can buy your prints. You can set up pages so that they can hire you to take pictures. They really make it comprehensive. Anything you can imagine wanting to do, Squarespace can make it possible. You do not have to take my word for it, because you can set one up for free and you don't have to remember to cancel. They're not sneaky. They don't charge you because you're forgetful. They just let you try it for 14 days and you're gonna like it. So use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. And you have to go to squarespace.com/Chelsea to do that. So thanks Squarespace, and thanks to you for watching. I ran around in this public park to show you this auto-focusing features for sports. So check these out. Look, it tracks my eye at 25 millimeters, and then also at 200 millimeters, it's keeping it locked in. So if I were doing athletic things in these photos, instead of just running around this park like a total goofball, you would be getting some primo shots. Now, compared to the previous version of this lens, which was the 28-200, it has a new motor. It's got a linear focusing motor, which is faster, and you can see that it's locking on quickly and getting all the photos in focus. It is limited to 15 frames per second since it's a third-party lens on the Sony, but 15 frames per second is still a lot, and you can see you're getting plenty of photos, so that's fine too. I'd say as far as autofocusing goes, it works really well. It's fast enough for some sports and some portraits, fast children, and my dog Pixel, who I had run towards the camera in these shots to test it with animals. You can see it's tracking her just fine, even though she has those difficult dark eyes on dark fur. It's finding her, locking in and focusing. Now, of course, a lot of the autofocusing has to do with the camera body. I'm shooting with the Sony Alpha 1, but the lens has to be able to keep up with the camera, and it's doing just fine, so A+. For portraits, you get a lot of versatility. You can shoot wider angle at 25 millimeters. You can zoom in for a more compressed look with more background blur at 200 millimeters. And even though the aperture is usually at 5.6, you don't have to worry about it because you're still going to get some background blur when you're zoomed in, and it's plenty for subject separation and pop. Take a look at these portraits and see all of the versatility you get. Who is this lens for? This is a great around town lens. You could keep it on your camera if you're traveling. You're gonna be able to get food shots, a butterfly that you see, portraits of your family, zoomed in shots of details. You can do everything with it, and it's $900. I would really recommend this lens to anyone who's looking for something like this. Some challenges are going to be the low light situation, of course. If you need more than 15 frames per second, okay, I guess you can, give it a ding for that. But other than that, the image quality is good, the versatility is amazing, and I highly recommend this lens to anyone looking for a tool like this. If you want to see more reviews like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. A lot of people forget that you have to subscribe to keep seeing the videos. My mom forgets. She's like, why don't I see your videos? She didn't hit the notification bell. You should do that so you're not like her. And of course, thank you Squarespace for making these reviews possible. If you want your very own Squarespace website, go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. Thanks, and see you next time.